Welcome to another episode of real-life haunted stories. If you love chilling tales and spine-tingling horror stories, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a scare. New nightmares drop every week. Stay haunted. So, let's start our today's episode. There is something about a knock at the door late at night that unsettles the soul. It carries an unnatural weight, a sense of violation of the quiet safety of your home. But what if, when you open the door, you are met with the sight of children, pale, hollow-cheeked, dressed oddly, their heads tilted slightly downward as if hiding their faces. And when they finally look up, your blood runs cold, because their eyes are nothing but black, no pupils, no irises, just an abyss staring back at you. You don't know why, but you feel something primal take hold of you. Run, run, run. But you can't move, because they're already inside. Brian Walker was a simple man, a truck driver, accustomed to long, lonely nights on the road. He had seen his share of strange things, animals darting across the highway, hitchhikers appearing out of nowhere, abandoned cars with no signs of life around them. But nothing could prepare him for what he would encounter on that cold October night. He was driving along a desolate stretch of highway, miles away from the nearest town. The radio was playing static, the empty road stretching endlessly ahead. The headlights cut through the darkness, illuminating only patches of cracked asphalt and skeletal trees swaying in the night wind. Then he saw them. Two children standing by the side of the road. They wore old-fashioned clothes, one in a pale dress, the other in a tattered hoodie. Their heads were down, faces obscured by the shadows. Brian's stomach twisted. What were they doing out here? He slowed the truck, the massive vehicle groaning as it came to a stop. He rolled down the window, hesitant. The cold night air slithered inside like an unseen presence. "Hey, kids. You lost?" No answer. Something wasn't right. His grip tightened on the steering wheel. Every instinct screamed at him to drive away. But before he could react, the girl lifted her head. Her face was pale, too pale. Her skin had the sickly texture of wax stretched too tightly over her bones. Then she blinked. Her eyes were black, not just dark, not just shadowed. Black, an endless, soulless void. Brian's breath caught in his throat. His body screamed at him to leave, but he was frozen in place. "Let us in," the boy said suddenly, his voice hollow and wrong. Brian's entire body went numb. "We need a ride," the girl added. Her voice was like nails on glass, sharp, shrill, almost distorted. A cold sweat broke out on his skin. His mouth was dry. His pulse pounded in his ears. Every fiber of his being told him not to let them in. But his hand was already moving toward the lock. Brian didn't remember unlocking the door. But suddenly, they were sitting in the truck's passenger seat. The girl sat closest, her small hands folded in her lap. The boy stared straight ahead, unmoving. The air inside the truck felt heavier, suffocating. Brian's skin crawled. His fingers trembled against the steering wheel. "Where do you kids live?" His voice sounded foreign to his own ears. Silence. Then, "Not far," the boy said. The radio crackled violently, the static morphing into whispers. Brian's hands clenched the wheel. His breath came out in short gasps. He needed to get them out of his truck. But his limbs felt sluggish, his mind foggy, his vision blurred at the edges, and then a cold, bony hand touched his arm. He gasped, jerking away violently. The girl was staring at him now. Her mouth was stretched into a grotesque smile, her lips too thin, her teeth too sharp. You shouldn't have let us in. Brian slammed on the brakes. The truck screeched to a halt, tires skidding over asphalt. He turned to the children, but they were gone. The passenger seat was empty. The doors had never opened. Brian's pulse thundered in his skull. He grabbed the door handle, flung it open, and stumbled into the night air, gasping. The road was empty, no footprints, no sign of them. But his truck, the truck was no longer running. The keys were still in the ignition, but the engine was cold, like it had been sitting there for hours. And then he saw it. Something moved in the rearview mirror. A shadow, a figure, inside the truck, watching him, smiling. Brian never spoke about that night again. He quit driving long haul, took a job at a small-town delivery service, and avoided nighttime shifts at all costs. But he never felt safe, because sometimes when he was alone at night, he would feel it, that presence, watching, waiting. And then, one night as he sat in his small apartment, a knock came at the door, software rhythmic. His stomach clenched. Through the peephole he saw them, 2 children, dressed the same, standing still, their heads bowed, waiting. A whisper slithered through the air. "Let us in." Brian backed away. His skin crawled with the memory of that frozen touch, the void-like eyes. He locked the door, shut the blinds. The knocking stopped. Silence. Then, from inside the apartment, "We're already here." The lights flickered. The air turned ice cold. And in the reflection of his dark TV screen, black eyes stared back at him. They say the black-eyed children don't just appear once. Once you let them in, even once, they are with you forever. And they always come back. So the next time you hear a knock late at night, pray it isn't them, because if it is, it's already too late. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, to show your support, comment to share your thoughts or ask questions, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload.